Imagine you're standing in the middle of a desert, sand in every direction. There's no water, no oil under your feet, at least not enough to matter. The summer temperature regularly hits 120 degrees Fahrenheit. This is Dubai in the 1960s, a small fishing village with a handful of mud buildings where pearl divers earned maybe $1 a day. Now, fast forward 60 years, the Burj Khalifa pierces the clouds at over half a mile high. There are indoor ski slopes inside a mall larger than 50 football fields. You can see islands shaped like palm trees from space. It has the world's busiest international airport, a skyline that makes Manhattan look modest, and a personal income tax rate of 0%. So what happened? How does a city with almost no natural resources, brutal heat, and barely any fresh water become richer per capita than almost anywhere in America? The answer isn't what you think, and the strategy behind it is far weirder than most people realize. Let's start with what Dubai doesn't have. It's not oil. Everyone assumes Dubai is an oil state like Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, but that's not even close. Dubai's oil reserves peaked back in the 1990s at around 4 billion barrels. That sounds like a lot until you realize Saudi Arabia has over 250 billion. Kuwait has 100 billion. Even neighboring Oman has more. Today, Dubai's oil production accounts for less than 1% of its GDP. 1% the oil. Money effectively ran out decades ago, and Dubai knew this was coming. So back in the 1980s, while the rest of the Gulf was doubling down on petroleum, Dubai made a different bet. A very strange bet. They decided to become a city that sells itself. Here's how it works. First, they built infrastructure. Ports, airports, roads, power grids, massive construction projects funded by that small window of oil revenue they actually had. In 1985, they opened the Jebel Ali port. At the time, it was the largest man-made harbor in the world. Now, why would you build a giant port when you have almost no exports? Because the goal wasn't to ship Dubai's products. The goal was to become the middleman for everyone else's products. The strategy was simple: make it easier to do business in Dubai than anywhere else in the region. They offered no corporate taxes in special free zones, no import duties, and no questions about where your money came from. If you wanted to move goods from Asia to Africa, you'd route them through Dubai. If you wanted to store gold, trade currency, or flip real estate, you'd do it in Dubai. They weren't selling oil, they were selling convenience and secrecy. Then came the branding. In the 1990s, Dubai started building things that made absolutely no practical sense. Take the Burj Al Arab, a so-called 7-star hotel shaped like a sail, sitting on its own artificial island. It opened in 1999 with rooms starting at over $1,000 a night. The building itself cost over $1 billion to construct, and the hotel loses money. It always has, but that was never the point. The point was the photograph. That single iconic building appeared on magazine covers, postcards, travel blogs, and later countless Instagram feeds. It became a symbol of luxury, ambition, and excess. It sent a message to the world that Dubai was where the future was happening. And once you believe that, you start moving your money there. See, Dubai has no income tax. It has no capital gains tax. If you're a billionaire in London paying 45% tax, or a tech founder in California paying 37% federal plus another 13% state tax, Dubai starts looking very, very appealing. The city quickly became a magnet for high net worth individuals, Russian oligarchs, Indian industrialists, Chinese real estate developers, British financiers, all of them parking their wealth in a place where the government wouldn't touch it. But here's the trick. The government of Dubai still needs revenue. It isn't running on goodwill alone. So where does the money come from? The answer is fees. Business licensing fees, visa fees, real estate transaction fees, fines, road tolls, government service charges. They've essentially turned the entire city into a subscription model. You don't pay income tax, but you pay for everything else. Want to start a business? That'll be $10,000 in licensing, please. Need a residency visa? That's another few thousand. Buying property? The developer adds a fees, the government adds a fees, the bank adds a fees. It all compounds, and then there's real estate. This is where things get truly absurd. Dubai has been in a continuous construction boom since the 1990s. Towers going up everywhere, luxury apartments, gated communities, artificial islands. The government owns most of the land, developers lease it, they build on it, and they sell the units. Foreigners buy them as investments, often without even seeing them. Prices go up and the cycle repeats. Except a lot of those apartments sit empty. Estimates vary, but some reports suggest nearly a third of Dubai's residential units are vacant. People buy them to park their money, not to live in them. It's a place where real estate functions more like a high-end safe deposit box than a home. This creates a very strange economy. The construction never stops because stopping would mean admitting the model doesn't work. If you stop building, prices drop. If prices drop, investors pull out. If investors pull out, the whole thing could unravel. So Dubai just keeps announcing new mega projects, a new tallest building, a rotating skyscraper, a temperature-controlled city with a glass dome. Most of these never even get finished, but the announcement itself is enough to keep the hype alive and the money flowing. But there's another crucial layer to this entire system: migrant labor. Dubai's population is about 3.5 million people, but only around 10% of them are actual Emirati citizens. The rest are expatriates, and a huge portion of those are laborers from South Asia, earning just a few $100s a month. They are the ones who build the towers, clean the hotels, and drive the taxis. They often live in labor camps on the outskirts of the city, in brutal conditions. This is the hidden subsidy. Dubai's image of luxury depends on a permanent underclass that keeps costs low and profits high. The wealth isn't distributed. It's concentrated at the very top, with just enough paid to the middle tier of expats to keep them compliant, and almost nothing trickling down to the people actually building the place. So if we zoom out, what is Dubai actually producing? It's not oil, it's not technology, it's not large-scale manufacturing. The answer is spectacle. The entire economy runs on perception. As long as people believe Dubai is the future, money continues to flow in. But the second that belief cracks, the model breaks, and there have been cracks. Dubai's debt crisis in 2009 nearly collapsed the entire emirate. They had to be bailed out by Abu Dhabi, their genuinely oil-rich neighbor. Real estate prices crashed. Projects were abandoned. For a moment, the illusion flickered, but they recovered with more construction, more branding, and more spectacle. The Expo 2020, which was delayed to 2021, cost over $7 billion. The legacy: a few pavilions and another stamp on Dubai's passport as a global city. The question of sustainability hangs over everything. Dubai imports almost all of its food. It desalinates seawater for drinking, which is an incredibly energy-intensive process. It runs air conditioning 24/7 in the middle of a desert. Climate change is making the region even hotter, and rising sea levels are a direct threat. To those famous artificial islands, the long-term math just doesn't add up. But here's the thing: Dubai isn't designed for the long term, it's designed for now. It's a city optimized for the present moment, where capital is mobile, where wealth is always seeking shelter, and where spectacle generates more spectacle. So, how did Dubai get so rich? The real answer is that it didn't. Dubai got very, very good at looking rich. It built a machine that extracts value from the world's belief that it's valuable. As long as there are billionaires who need a place to hide their money. As long as there are people willing to pay for an Instagram shot in front of the Burj Khalifa, and as long as the construction cranes keep moving, the system holds. But systems built on perception are fragile, and the desert always has a way of reclaiming what doesn't belong. The question isn't whether Dubai is rich. The real question is, what happens when everyone stops believing that it is? Thanks for watching.